Hello, my dear friends. Hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you so much for joining in your channel. So, my dear friends, this is the 10th video in the sequence of traps. And I hope you watched all the 9 videos of traps that I made and uploaded in the playlist. So, if you didn't watch, so after watching this video, you can go and watch and enjoy the game. In this way, you are enhancing your knowledge and skill in chess. So my dear friends, in this video, I'm going to show you how to trap your opponent to checkmate. So let's get started the game. My dear friends, in this game, your opponent is pushing the pawn into d4. Again, you have to take your knight into f6. Now your opponent is pushing the pawn into c4. So my dear friends, in this position, you are pushing the pawn into e5. When your opponent is seeing that you push the pawn into e5 and it has no defender, so therefore your opponent is simply capturing the pawn. So my dear friends, yesterday in previous video, I told you that if you play your knight into e4. So if you didn't watch, you go and watch. This is also very fantastic. In this way, you are trapping your opponent queen. But in this game, I'm going to show you if you trap to checkmate your opponent. So also you have this option and you must try this brilliant move. And that is taking your knight into g4. And from other hand, you are attacking to this pawn. So usually your opponent is not losing the pawn. So that's why he is deciding to defend from this pawn by activating his knight into f3 and defending his pawn in the center. So when you see this opportunity, again you should take out other knight and attack to this pawn as much as possible. Now you are attacking to this pawn. So your opponent is trying to defend. So now see my dear friends, your opponent, the best option in here is to defend his pawn by taking his bishop into f4. From other hand, he is activating his bishop and also defending his pawn in the center. So my dear friends, up to this position, whatever we wanted, our opponent did. Now it is coming the best and fantastic move, and that is giving a very nasty check in here. When you are giving this check, so your opponent cannot defend this check by his bishop because you are taking the bishop. For example, if he takes, so again you have to take the pawn. So when he takes, so you are taking with your other knight. So that's why your opponent is not going to lose his pawn. That is why he is not going to cover the check by his bishop. So coming to the main lines. So my dear friends, in here when you are giving this check, so usually your opponent is going to activate his other knight and also covering that check. But in here your opponent is not covering the check by taking his knight into c3 because you are directly capturing the knight. So when your opponent captured your bishop, so see my dear friends, in here you damage the entire pawn structure of your opponent. So it is not a good idea. It is called blunder for your opponent. So if your opponent is a good and professional player, so he is not allowing you to do such a thing. So the best move in here for your opponent is to cover the check by his knight into d2. Now my dear friends, you have the best move and you just simply activating your queen into e7. So when you took your queen into e7, so your opponent has two options to play. The first one is pushing the pawn into h3, and also this one is not a good move because you are simply taking the pawn. If your opponent takes back, so you are simply taking back with your knight. Again, if he takes, so simply you are taking with your queen. So now you pinned your opponent knight, and from other hand, you are attacking to the weak pawn in a center. So therefore, in this position, your opponent is not happy because you have the black pieces and you brought more pressure in this game. So your opponent may be not pushing the pawn and threatening your knight. When you took your queen into e7, so your opponent is simply pushing the pawn into a3 and threatening your bishop. So my dear friends, in here, can you find the best move for black pieces? So think with yourself for only 1 minute or maximum 2 minutes if you are able to find the best move in here for black. So this is the best move, my dear friends. You have to take the pawn by your knight. So your opponent is seeing that he can take the bishop, but by his surprise, you have this fantastic check and mate, because your opponent cannot capture your knight by his pawn, because you already pinned with your queen. So it is not a good idea. So definitely your opponent cannot escape from this check. So other options I'm going to tell you. For example, in here, if you took the pawn, so your opponent cannot take with his bishop because you are taking with your knight. So when he takes back, so simply you are first taking the knight and giving check. So your opponent is covering the check. So now you are taking the knight. So my dear friends, this would be the best line for your opponent to play against you. So that's why it was necessary to tell you. Otherwise, it was possible to trap to checkmate your opponent. So most of the times, you are facing, if your opponent doesn't make any mistake, you are reaching up to this position. So from this position onward, you can play smoothly. And this is very good as a black you are playing and you have equal. Especially now your queen is more active in here. So that's why you are slightly better in this position. So now coming to back to the main lines. So my dear friends, in here, if your opponents make a mistake, decides to take your knight first, so now you are taking. So for example, if he decides to now capture your bishop, so again this checkmate is coming. So your opponent cannot escape from your hand, as you see that you pin the pawn in the center. So in this way you can checkmate your opponent. So thank you so much, my dear friends. It was today's trap and I hope you enjoyed from watching this video. If you enjoyed from this video, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends. And this way you are motivating me to make lots of good videos in the future. See you in the next video.